Welcome to Quest. The Quest. Welcome to the Quest. The Quest for financial freedom. I'm your host, Paul LeJoy. I cannot even begin to tell you how excited I am about this show. The first time for it to hit Sacramento area, Northern California, and the entire state of California. The Quest. The quest for financial freedom. Everyone is questing for something, if there's a word like that. When's the last time you went to Costco? Costco. I love oxtail. And the last time I went to Costco, and I tried to buy oxtail. Very expensive. Wow. Today, I went to grab something, food, at a sushi restaurant near my office here. And guess what happened? I ordered this unagi. Okay, that means this is eel over rice. I ordered this thing, and guess what? I saw the price. $28. Man, the last time I ordered unagi, that was way back when. And it was $18. How come it jumped to $28? If I keep eating out, I need to make at least $200,000 to live here in the Bay Area. To live in the Bay Area. And maybe $200,000 is not enough. Because the average home here in the city of Newark, where I live, which is only 5 minutes away from Facebook and 7 minutes away from Tesla, 20 minutes away from Google, 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away from Apple. Can you imagine? Houses are so expensive. 1.3 million. Actually, what am I talking about? $1.5 million for a single family residence, which was only about $352,000 10 years ago. $352,000. The same house right now is $1.5 million, even though the market is a little soft. Inventory is still not there. If I continue earning only $200,000, and for most people, they don't earn that much. Some of them make $90,000. Some of them make $150,000. There's absolutely no way you can continue making that kind of money and live a lifestyle that you want to live. That is why I started a show called The Quest for Financial Freedom. If you're only rich, if you're one of those basketball players or one of those movie stars, one of those tech people, and you have a lot of money, maybe this show is not for you. But if you're like the rest of us, this show is for you. So go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere, and tell everybody, come and listen to it every week. Listen to it on podcasts, The Quest. So, who am I? Who am I to tell you about this? Okay, I'm here, first of all, to educate, to enrich, and empower. The quest for financial freedom, or the quest at all, is to educate, to enrich, and empower, especially for those who are not part of the 1%, right? And if you're already part of 1%, then please help us. Help us to be able to educate the rest of us, to be able to enrich the rest of us, to be able to empower the rest of us. And I'm not talking about going to college again. No, I'm talking about a different kind of education. And stay tuned as we go along. I'll tell you what I mean. So, who am I? Well, I'm an accomplished international speaker, author, and mentor. I've spoken in places like Canada, Toronto. I was born in a poor village in Cameroon, Africa, in a mud house without any running water. Can you imagine that? I had to walk for miles to school. To school as a little kid, 4 years old, attending elementary school. I walked for miles, and I did that for 7 years. No bike, no cars, nothing. Can't even begin to tell you. But I did not allow that to deter me. I did not allow that to handicap me. I always had a vision. It has to be better than this. You can read that in one of my books. It's called King of Hiroko. You can find it on Amazon. My name is Paul LeJoy. I'm your host. So, as I said, I was born in a mud house in Africa without any running water at all. But I became well educated. They actually sent me to England to study radio, film, and television production. And today I'm a multilingual. I speak different languages. I've traveled, besides living in England, traveled to Asia, and I've been in California, Silicon Valley, again, just 5 minutes away from Facebook, 7 minutes away from Tesla, 20 minutes away from Google, 25 minutes away from Apple. There's movers and shakers in the Bay Area. I have learned a lot. I've done all kinds of stuff. I'm a techie, but I have such a vast experience in the realm of real estate, mortgage, and now insurance. And I'm here to help shed some light how we can use the language, the expertise, the experience that I have to educate, enrich, and empower you, my listener. Now, let's go ahead. You probably heard about this great resignation, the great resignation. So, people are always leaving jobs, right? I left my full-time job as a program manager over here in Silicon Valley back in 2005. But before that, I left a great job in Taiwan where everything was going for me, right? I had my TV show, I had books I'd written, I had people who were following me, but I decided to leave Taiwan because it was about time. And sometimes I look back and I regret, why did I leave that behind and come to California, an expensive place, and start all over again? Why? So many regrets I've had, and that's for another show. But we'll talk about great resignation. So I came here as a program manager, worked in Silicon Valley, and then I got a real estate license, 2005. My phone was ringing off the hook. Everybody wanted to buy real estate. So I thought, well, let's resign from the full-time job in the cubicle and go somewhere else, do something way better. And that was real estate. And you all know what happened after 2007. It crashed. And I kind of started regretting, why did I leave my full-time comfortable job to be a real estate person? So people leave for different reasons. So 2009, about close to 2 million people left their jobs. 1.8 million people left their jobs, for some reason. And I'll go into that later. But last year, 2021, a whopping close to 5 million people left their jobs. They left their jobs. Great resignation. Why? Okay, the top reason is of course because of salary. Most people left their jobs because they weren't happy with the salaries. I bet if in 2005 my salary was 3 times what I was making, I probably would have taught twice before leaving, right? So 17% of all people that left their jobs left because of the salary. Some left because of COVID-19 concerns. Others left because of work-life balance. Others left because of working conditions, career advancement. Okay, and they were let go. Some of them left because they were let go, but that's about 8%. 17% left because of the salary. They were not happy with the salary. 7% left because of career change, self-employment. Only 5% of the people left because they wanted to employ themselves. Okay, but that's a significant number as well. Okay, safety concerns, lack of remote work, 4%. Vaccine mandates, 3%. A lot of people left because They were mandated to take a vaccine. And if you did not take the vaccine, then you have to leave. I remember my friend had worked for the city of Oakland for many years, 17 or more years, but he had to quit the city of Oakland to go and work in the city of Pittsburgh because it was mandated to do what? To take the vaccine in the city of Oakland. And he didn't want to do that. And a lot of people did that too. Okay, here's the problem. You got like 85% of Americans don't love their jobs. 85% of Americans don't love their jobs. Yet they go to work grudgingly every day, Monday to Friday, okay, just to make ends meet, to put food on the table. Wow, that's interesting. The cost of living keeps going up, such as even those who love their jobs, like teachers, like police officers, firefighters, or others, keep working, right? They cannot keep up with the cost of living. So I'm talking about 85% of the people don't like their jobs. And even those people that love their jobs, they cannot keep up with the cost of living. Okay? And it's not because there's inflation now, but it's always been the case. All right, the next thing is, many of those who quit and start their own businesses and prepared, and so the failure rate is pretty high. Okay, that's a problem, right? The problem, 85% of the people don't love their jobs, and those who love their jobs cannot make ends meet. And those who quit their jobs to start their own careers, okay, their own jobs, their own businesses, a lot of them fail. So that's a huge problem. Today we're talking about what? Okay, you're on my show. And the name of the show is The Quest for Financial Freedom. By the way, this show is brought to you by the Money Market Inc., the Amazon for mortgage solutions. If you're looking to buy a property, especially in this market where we're seeing values dropping and stuff like that, this is a great time to buy a property. Yes, even you're an investor or you are a first-time home buyer, the Money Market is a place to go to. Go to that website, themoneymarketinc.com, themoneymarketinc.com. And if you're watching this or listening to this on a cell phone, right, please go to the moneymarket.us, themoneymarket.us. They are the Amazon for mortgage solutions. For first-time home buyers, they can give you up to what? No money down, absolutely no money down to buy your first home. If you haven't owned a home for the last 2 years, this is a great time to buy, especially now that the values are dropping. Okay? It's a great time to buy. If you're an investor, this is a great time to buy too. You can buy without any money down, believe it or not, because the money market will give you the gap funding. They provide everything from FHA loans all the way to commercial loans, industrial loans, okay, conventional loans, jumbo loans. Even they fund anything from $100,000 to over $100 million, and they fund locally and internationally. You're listening to The Quest for Financial Freedom. Now let's carry on. Right. So what's the solution? We talked about the problem. The problem is that 85% of the people in America don't love their jobs. They go to school and study very hard. You know, the parents work hard and send them to college. They graduate, and yet 85% of the people don't love their jobs. Wow. And for those who love their jobs, some of them still don't make enough money. So people go to work, 85% of the people go to work and they don't love their jobs. But those who love their jobs, their salaries suck. Some of them, not all of them. And some of them, we say 5% of them quit their jobs to start their own businesses, and the failure rate is pretty high. So what is the solution then? You see, when you watch television, you know, when you watch basketball, for example, you watch Stephen Curry play, what do you see? You see someone who's like super happy, right? Who doesn't work all those hours that we work. He certainly doesn't fall within that category of 85% of the people that don't like their jobs. He Doesn't fall within that category of people that love their jobs, but their salaries suck. And certainly, it doesn't fall within that third category of people that quit their jobs to start their own businesses and then they fail. So what is the secret here? The secret is basically that, okay, I'm going to give you some solutions. We create some problems. We'll talk about some problems. And let's talk about some solutions. Solution number one, okay, is actually find something that you really love to do. Something that you really love to do. Something that people really need. And become excellent at it. Whether it's sports or like Stephen Curry or Tesla, like Elon Musk, and anything at all. Whether you're Brad Pitt, you find something that you really love to do. And become something that people really love or they need. And you become so good at it, just like Elon Musk becomes so good at creating this wonderful machine called Tesla. Okay? Just like Stephen Curry is so mesmerizing when he plays. Becomes so good at what you do. Not just good, but excellent at what you do. People will give you what you want. Become so excellent at what you do, and then establish a lasting legacy for yourself, your family, and generations to come. Hey, let me give some examples. Okay, you got people like Michael Jordan. Do you think Michael Jordan will ever be poor? Do you think that his family will ever be poor? This is someone who discovered what he really loved to do and became so good at it, and he was paid handsomely. Everywhere he went, people loved to see him play. How about Stephen Curry? How about Klay Thompson? How about Draymond Green, for those of you who are in the Bay Area? How about Simone Biles? How about Michael Phelps? How about TV and movie moguls like Oprah Winfrey, Steve Harvey, Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, Denzel Washington, Tyler Perry? These are people who discovered their triad of awesomeness. The triad of awesomeness. And what's a triad? That you find what you really love to do. You become so good at it. That means excellent. That's your dream job. And that pays you well. It's second nature to you. Today we're talking about what? Yes. This show is called The Quest for Financial Freedom. And today we're just laying the foundation. And by the way, it's coming to you from somebody who was born in a mud house in Africa, a house without any running water. My first book in America was called It's Impossible to Be Poor in America. Even though I find that there are 45 million people who are considered poor in America. Who gives me the audacity to talk about that? But I'm here to inspire. I'm here to educate. And I'm here to enrich and empower you. If you're watching this or listening to this, wherever you are, know that I'm here for you. I'm here to assist you. So we'll talk about solution number one. Is to find something that you really love to do, something that people really need, okay? And become so good at it. That's solution number one. Let's talk about solution number two. And then I'll come to you and tell you what you should be doing if you're not happy to this. So stay tuned. Listen to the end. And if you are listening to this on podcast, listen to it over and over. Okay? If you're watching this on YouTube, watch it over and over. And please, share it. Okay, solution number two. Raise huge capital and build a huge company, like a system. That's one system. That's one solution you can provide. Talk about the quest to the quest for financial freedom. Number one is to find something you really love to do, become excellent at it, something that people really need. That's your number one solution. Let's say you can't find that. Second thing is what? You raise money, raise capital. Maybe you live in California, right? There's a lot of money around, even though now the economy is doing a little bit, okay? But there's still a lot of money. So you have an idea, raise huge capital, and build a huge company, okay? Create massive jobs and have people work for you, work the system for you. This is what you see in companies like Facebook, Google, Apple, LinkedIn, YouTube, Tesla, and the rest. So that's a solution to financial freedom, right? So they got this idea. For example, Mark Zuckerberg, he just had an idea of connecting people. And he's connecting people. He went to Microsoft and told them about this vision that he had. Wanted to connect people. And then guess what happened? They gave him $250 million in exchange for 5% ownership of Facebook. Okay, there's a company called Compass. This guy came and he pitched his idea to SoftBank, the Japanese company. He pitched his idea to SoftBank, and SoftBank gave him $450 million. Now, Compass is one of the largest real estate companies in the world, okay, at least in America. His idea was 20-20-20. By the year 2020, he will occupy 20% of the top 20 markets. Okay? Occupy 20% market share of the top 20 markets in America. They believed in him. They gave him the money. And then guess what? Today, he's financially free. Because with that money, he was able to hire people, to work his vision. Okay, number one was that your path to financial freedom could be what? Yes, you find something that you really love to do, you become so good at it, and something that people really need. And guess what you do? You share that idea with people, and you're going to be financially free. Number two is you have an idea, and this idea is huge. You go raise some huge capital, like Facebook did, like Google did, like all these companies did, even Apple, okay? And then hire people to work that idea for you. And that's how you become financially free. That's solution number two. Now let's look at solution number three. Solution number three is basically you can buy a franchise, a successful franchise, and have others work for you. Franchise, you can buy a McDonald's, a Wendy's, a Burger King, Massage Envy, Taco Bell, Baskin Robbins, a Subway, Dunkin' Donuts, Domino's Pizza, Pizza Hut. You can buy any of these successful franchises. Okay, and buy it. Maybe we pay $1 million, or some of them only $25,000, and you have other people working for you. You're gonna get some capital, working capital. You have people working for you. Guess what? You can be financially free. Picture you test one that's successful, okay, and then you go buy another one before you realize you got 10 of these things, and you don't have to work yourself. People are always looking for jobs. But if you are in a quest for financial freedom, I tell you, one of the things that you could do is to buy a franchise. Okay, that is solution number three. So number one was basically find something that you really love to do, become so good at it, something that people need, which is like sports people, right? I mentioned Stephen Curry. Or you raise capital and go find yourself, build a company like Google, Facebook. And number three, I talked about, go get a franchise. Now, let's say that is not good enough. Okay, there are other ways you can become financial free. Create technology that disrupts established industries and creates mass opportunity for all. See, it happened for companies like Uber, Lyft, and AirBnB. So they just created the technology. And they don't have to own anything. Really. They don't own those cars. Uber doesn't own those cars. Uber doesn't employ those people. They just have the technology. It's just an app. It's just an app. Okay? Airbnb doesn't own those homes, those rooms. They just created an app. We talk about the path to financial freedom. We talk about your quest for financial freedom. So if you're listening to this and you're not financially free, today I'm here to do what? I'm here to educate, enrich, and empower. If you have any questions, by all means, you can email me at LeJoy at themoneymarket.us. LeJoy, LEJOY at themoneymarket.us. Or go to my website. Our website is themoneymarket.us. The Money Market, THE, themoneymarket.us. I'll be more than happy to address any questions that you may have. You can find me on LinkedIn, just Google Paul LeJoy. Okay, on Facebook, just Google the Money Market, right? But we want to talk about this, right? The quest for financial freedom. America is still the greatest country in the world. It might not be as beautiful as some of the parts that I've been to around the world. Like I've been to Singapore so many times, okay? I've been to Bali Island, Indonesia. Yeah, but America is still a great country that many people envy. There's no other country in the world that people come to as much as they come to America. It's a melting pot. China might be catching up, but China is pretty much a homogeneous country. And I know Americans are going to Shanghai and other places like that. There's no country quite as attractive as the United States of America. Yet we find people who are starving here. I wonder why. But that's for another day. Today we're talking about your quest for financial freedom. And that's my show, Quest for Financial Freedom. And coming forward, as you stay tuned on this show, I'm going to bring people who have found that quest. The people that have fulfilled that quest. People that are financially free. Okay, so I talked about what? The first thing is to find something that you really love to do. You become excellent at it. Something that people need. You get paid handsomely. Get paid handsomely. Number two is that you can create an idea like Facebook did, that Google did, and go raise the capital. That people that are looking for ideas. Number three is to create this. You can buy a franchise. There are already franchises there, like McDonald's, successful franchises out there. Just buy one of them. And number four is basically create a disruptive technology. Really, apps are plenty nowadays. You can create yours. Just like Uber, Lyft, and AirBnB did. Then you become financially free. But the average person that listens to me might not be able to do any of these things that I just mentioned. Okay, let's mention the next one. Number 5. Okay, another way that you can become financially free is own what? Real estate. And hire a world-class property management company and have people paying you rent forever. This can be residential, commercial, or industrial property. Imagine if you had just bought real estate when the market was really low. If you had bought real estate back then in 2012, and you bought, one of my friends, one of my agents actually, he bought some properties in Berkeley by the university. He bought REOs, bank-owned properties. And today that guy doesn't have to work. He does not have to work. Right? So that's one way to become financially free, to buy real estate, rental properties. And you get what? Cash flow as well as appreciation and tax write-offs. That's another way to become financially free. We're talking about your quest for financial freedom. Or today, different steps to become financially free. So let's talk about number 6. Okay, you can have an inexpensive sales system that's already proven. and an inexpensive sales system that's already proven. Maybe you're not so good at sports, you're not a good actor, that's all. You have to know people. Even if you're very good at sports, I mean, the competition is so intense. You have to be so good to play for the Warriors. And if you're playing for the Warriors, you only need a few people to play there. So it might not fit you. Okay? And you may not have that big idea to raise capital to build a big company like Facebook and Google. You may not have the money to buy a franchise, right? To buy a franchise. You may not have the money to buy a franchise. Or you may not even like the idea of a franchise, of employing people, right? You may not like that idea. You may not be smart enough to build something that's disruptive, like these guys have done, right? The creators of Lyft and Uber and Airbnb. You may not be smart enough to do that. So you can say, woe is me. I'm not any of these. I tell you what, no, woe is you. You still have the opportunity to be financially free. And I want to present that to you. Find something that's already existing that people are making money out of, and do what? Plug into it. Learn from it. Learn from it. Learn from those people. Be humble enough to learn. And you become good at it. It costs you very little or nothing. It doesn't cost you what a franchise will cost you. You don't need to employ so many people. You don't need to employ anybody at all. Nobody at all. Just plug into a system that's working, that's proving. It's just sales. You say, oh, I'm not a good salesperson. No, you don't need to be a sales. What is a good salesperson? It's somebody who just says, man, I am not happy where I am right now. Because if you continue to do the things that you do and expect different results, you are what? That's insanity. If I continue doing what I am doing, which is just transactions, one transaction after another, right? As most realtors do what? They just chase transaction after another. There's no system. There's nothing that's duplicable. The key path to success, the financial freedom, is to plug into a system that is very low entry, okay? And is plug and play. Plug and play. Imagine if you are listening to this and you're a real estate agent. Imagine all those years you've been working as a real estate agent. If only you had a system whereby your clients were not just your clients, but your clients were what? Your potential partners. So when you sell a property, right? You sell the property and you move on. Like the guy, when he sold me a property here, I haven't seen him since. He sold me that property. He made $30-something thousand, okay, back in 2004. And imagine if that guy had a system where he could show me how I could become like him. Because 1 year later, I got my license. If that guy just showed me, hey, Paul, I got a way that you can become like me. You can get your license as well. And by the way, it's Paul. I can help you build this thing. I can help you put 3 people under you. And as you make money, okay, you get paid a portion of that. And the people that put under you, all I want you to do, I'm going to train you. I'm going to give you all the power, Paul. I'm going to give you all the power, Paul, to become so good, and maybe even better than me, okay, depending on your hunger. You could become so good like me, Paul, and guess what? Be fruitful and multiply. And if that guy had just done that, okay, I would have gotten the license, I would have gotten all the skills, and he would have gotten paid out of everything that I made and the people that I brought on. Because guess what? When I got licensed as a real estate person, my first transaction was $925,000. And I didn't even know how to sell. I didn't sell at all. I just gave somebody a flyer. And they were looking. At that time, 2005, the market was hot. And this girl wanted a bigger property. And guess what she did? Somebody gave me a flyer. The property was on the market. I gave a flyer to another colleague who gave the flyer to the girl that wanted to buy this property off market. And then I did what? And then from there, I listed her condo. I got 8 offers on her property, and the person that bought that property, the condo, was another colleague. From that one deal, I made what? I think it was like $40,000 in no time. Imagine if that guy who sold me my property back then had told me, hey, Paul, you could be like me, Paul. Imagine if he had only educated me, he would have, through that education, enriched me and empowered me to be like him and then build me up. Guess what? He would have made money from me, not only from the sale, that first sale that he did. He would have made that first sale, okay? And he would have made all that money, $30-something thousand, and everything else that I made when I became like him or I became a realtor. And then guess what? Through my success, if he taught me how to do the stuff, how to replicate myself, duplicate myself, I could have duplicated other people, my colleagues. And my colleagues, what? Would say, Paul, I would have just taken people out to lunch and say, give them lobster and all that kind of stuff. And through that, they said, whoa, where you get all this money from? Right? And I said, yeah, you can be like me. You can be exactly like me. Get your license, and you can also treat other people because you know people that I don't know. Imagine. Because if you concentrate only on transactions, you're not going to make it. For example, people are just doing what? Nowadays, okay, the market's going up, the market's going down, you're not sure. When the market was a buyer's market, a seller's market, you make an offer as a buyer's agent, you're not sure your offer is going to be accepted. So many offers on one property. I'm astounded by that. How do you think that your offer is going to be accepted when your offer is number 5, number 6? And people that offers have been written on that property, only one person is going to get that property. And then you have 40 offers. Terrible time to be a buyer's agent. Now the market's changed. And those buyer's agents now, okay, they could, the seller's agents now are begging the buyer's agent, hey, because of inflation, interest rates being higher and stuff like that. But imagine this. Okay, an agent is depending only on his own production, her own production, and not the production of a team. Imagine that if that agent, when she started, she was taught to build a team, okay, and to get paid for everything that everybody does, and to build people up. Imagine this: that agent will be financially free. For example, when was the last time that the boss of your company, if you're watching this or listening to this, the boss of your company came down to I'm talking about a CEO, maybe you were working for a big company, and there's a CEO, there is a CFO, there's a CTO, and you have COO, all those people, right? The big guys, right? When's the last time any of them came down to the level of the worker? The worker, right there, the guy at the factory floor, on the factory floor. When the last time Elon Musk ever went to the workers on the factory floor and said, I can teach you everything that I know. I can empower you to be like me. Can you imagine that? If that was the case, okay, let's take Apple. So Apple, for example, builds, as you know, the iPhone and the rest of the stuff. Imagine that if Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs, or the new CEO that's there now, came down and empowered all those workers, all those engineers, and say, you know what? Why don't you build something? I give you all the money, all the skills, everything, all the power, all the freedom to go and build stuff, okay? And whoever you hire and whoever joins your team, you get paid for that person, whatever. And so guess what? I am going to give you, okay, 65% of the profit from your own efforts. 65% of the profit from your effort will be given to you. Apple is now a $2 trillion company. Can you imagine how big Apple would be if Apple were to empower its workers to replicate themselves, to duplicate themselves, and get rewarded for their own efforts, get rewarded, not just bonuses, but they get a fraction, actually, they get a commission, 60% of the profit going to them. And then the people in their team get rewarded. Wow. You will have, Apple will be worth more than $2 trillion. Apple will worth way more. That is a thing I want to talk to you about. So if you've been listening to me, I'm talking about the quest for financial freedom. And today I laid it out. 6 ways to be financially free. I talked about becoming like an athlete, right? But how many teams do you have in the world? You don't have a lot. Becoming so good at what you do, maybe your job. But if you became good at what you do at your job, okay, what are the chances that your income is going to triple? What's the chances? What are the chances? What are the chances that they're going to promote you and give you a portion of the company? So the other thing I talked about is basically go raise capital, have a big idea like Facebook, and go raise capital and build this thing, change the world. How many of us can do that? Okay, the other one was basically go get a franchise. You may not like this franchise, you may not like the idea, or you may not have the money to buy a franchise. Listen to me today. The next one is basically disruptive technology. Okay? Oh, go create an app. But how many people have the smarts to create an app that's going to disrupt? There's so many apps out there. Many starving app developers, right? So, but I talked about what is there's turnkey sales. Sales. And I'm talking about not going to, I'm talking about I have something that will blow your mind. Okay. So, and this happened because, I watched these guys when I had a big brokerage firm, a relatively big, right? Here in the Fremont, Newark area, and these guys used to come to my office and try to sell insurance, okay, life insurance and stuff. It did not occur to me, and they said, go get your license. I got an insurance license way back in 2004, even before I got a real estate license. But then I wasn't exposed to the right people. I'll go to this guy's office, always talk about buy term and invest the difference. Buy term and invest the difference. And then I had people from WFG talking to me about insurance, and then I gave them opportunity to present to my agents, right? But it never resonated with me until in July, last month, I went and got the license again. And as I was coming out of the exam hall, and I was driving from Santa Clara to my office in Newark, the idea of a triangle came to mind. And triangle is what? Okay, so I've been doing real estate since 2005, and I have a mortgage company, and I see the value of the mortgage company, and I see people's financials. Okay, some people want to buy, but they don't have any money. And how are they able to live in the Bay Area? How are they able to live at all? And some of them are working. What's the future? And some have been working for a long time. And they're in their 50s and they have no savings, nothing. What's the solution? What's the solution? Okay, so now I got this insurance license. Now I have three things: real estate, right? And then you have what? Mortgage, and then insurance. Real estate is what people showcase. Whether you are a millionaire or you're just making $100,000, you want to buy your own home. It's part of the American dream. And then, of course, to do that, most people are not able to buy real estate cash. So what they're gonna do? They're gonna get a loan. You're gonna get a loan, and that loan is gonna do what? It's gonna help them buy that asset. But how do you protect that asset? How do you protect that asset? You protect that asset with insurance. First of all, you're going to buy the hazard insurance, okay? And the second thing is basically, but what happens? Hazard insurance only for 1 year, and the lender requires that you have that. But what happens if something were to happen to you? If you were to lose a job, who's going to protect that? What's going to protect that? Insurance. How about if you were to become disabled? What's going to protect that asset and prevent it from going to foreclosure? Insurance. What if you died? What if something happened to you? What's going to protect that asset? It's insurance, life insurance. So life insurance is basically life. It's love. You're giving love to your family, love to yourself. Okay, you have living benefits. If something were to happen to you, you have living benefits to continue living the life, the quality of life. Okay, so that you can replace that income. But the beauty about this is not just that, is that now I can show people how to make money with these this triangle that I have. And I've joined this group of people, and I saw one of my friends that used to come to my office, and the idea never resonated with me. And I saw how he, in 2019, he made $500,000. In 2020, he made $750,000. In 2021, he made $1 million. And this year, 2022, he made $2 million. We're talking about the power of compound interest, compound growth. Wow, it's amazing. This guy doesn't have any employees. This guy doesn't have any offices. This guy doesn't have any overhead. He just plugged into a system. And he developed leaders. And now he's set for life. Can you imagine that? The guy that he hired, he is at $3.5 million. The guy that he brought to this system, the plug and play system that I'm talking about, the guy is making this year $3.5 million. And the guy that this guy brought, okay, are all doctors. Okay, and you don't have to be a doctor. The guy that this guy brought, making $4 million. Amazing stuff. This is the path to financial freedom. So today I talked about different ways to become financially free. Okay, I mentioned about becoming so good at what you do maybe you want to be an athlete and stuff, but how many people can do that? I talked about raising capital to build a big company like Facebook or Google or Tesla. Okay, but how many people can do that? I talked about buying a franchise, but how many people can do that? I talked about starting disruptive technology like Airbnb and Uber and Lyft, but how many people can do that? But I talked about, buying real estate. Buying real estate is another thing, but how many people can do that? Okay, how many people can do that? How many people, you listen to me, do you have the money to buy real estate that cash flows? If you live in California, is it going to cash flow? Is it going to make you financially free? I doubt it. Then I talk about the last thing, low entry point, very little expense, less than $500. And before Christmas this year, you can start doing this thing and you can join a great company of people that are there wanting to be a CEO. want you to be a CEO. You can be a CEO. If you're open-minded, if you're passionate, if you're hungry, if you have a quest to be financially free, you can be that person. Thank you so much for listening to me today. This show was brought to you by the Money Market Inc., the Amazon for mortgage solutions. Go to www.themoneymarket.us. Themoneymarket.us. I look forward to seeing you next week. This is Paul LeJoy. It's going to be exciting. Next week, I'm going to have someone on the show who is an exhibit of what I'm talking about. You must listen to this. Thank you.